I'm Salvatore Babones, and I'm here to talk Australia-China relations. Today I'd like to highlight an article by, well, me. It's on the global website called Times Higher Education. Times Higher Education is the leading global higher education magazine, and my article is about Australia's potential relaxation of its China travel ban. As many of you will know, Australia has had a total ban on travel from China since February 1st. But it's been cracking, and it's been cracking open specifically for students. Not for family members, not for business travelers who may want to invest in Australia, but for teenagers. And there's one reason and one reason only, and that is lobbying by the education industry, including by state governments like the Victorian state government, which stands to lose $100 million in Chinese student tuition revenue if their students don't come in from China this year. Yes, that's crazy, but in Australia, local governments are selling places to fee-paying international students. Victorian government in the lead with 7,300 places, New South Wales government in second with 3,000. Look, Australia is not prepared to deal with an outbreak of coronavirus. The health authorities seem to think that because they have so far dealt successfully with 15 cases, that they're prepared to have 60 or 80,000 students come in from China all at once. I think they are not. In fact, I've read the entire 56-page Australian Health Sector Emergency Response Plan for Novel Coronavirus. I encourage you to go look it up. It's a great document, 56 pages of platitudes. There's nothing about designated care centers or what they're going to do when medical staff have to themselves be quarantined. Nothing specific. It's platitude after platitude about community empowerment and how instilling confidence in government. Well, I'll tell you what would instill a lot of confidence in government: specific plans. What we'd like to see is not a generic, we're confident that we can handle any kind of outbreak that might occur in Australia. It'd inspire a lot more confidence for them to actually tell us what they're going to do if, and let me say, if they let in 60,000 students when there is an epidemic outbreak in Australia. I teach at a university. I don't want coronavirus. Now, people say, oh, well, for young, healthy people, the death rates are pretty low. It may be less than 1%, 0.5%. Look, first of all, I don't want to take a 0.5% chance of death. Second, even if you don't die from it, you get double pneumonia and you're laid up for 6 weeks, unable to sleep, unable to breathe. It's a pretty nasty disease, even if you don't die. I mean, having your arms cut off won't kill you, but it sure does ruin your quality of life. And I suspect in the same way, coronavirus, while maybe not as bad as having your arms cut off, still would put a crimp in your quality of life for quite a while. And who knows, it may cause permanent damage to your lungs. We just don't know yet. Look, it is crazy for Australia to open its borders to Chinese students. I'm not anti-Chinese. I love my Chinese students and I want them back as soon as possible. But encouraging 60, 80, 100,000 people to start traveling when their own government won't allow them to travel, when universities are closed in China, in Hong Kong, in Singapore, they're closing in Korea, they're starting to close in Japan, when universities are closing all around East Asia, the idea that you can run classes for Chinese students in Australia when in China they don't believe they can run classes for Chinese students, that's pure irresponsibility. I'm sorry, and we should not allow it to happen. Australians, get worried, get in touch with your representatives. Please make sure that this doesn't happen this week.